Hey, what's up? I'm Al Cox. I play games, make games, and everything in between. And today we're going to continue. It's going to break down all the elements, the gameplay, and the dynamics of Cyber 4 3D. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe as I put out videos relating to making and building games with Buildbox and all the processes that you have to go through, figuring out elements from making enemy objects collidable to uploading the game to the App Store. So let's get going. Here's all the current versions of Buildbox I have right now. Buildbox is always being updated. Everything is always in beta. Go to Open Project, click on the latest, greatest, save as. Here's the first scene, and all these scenes are random, okay? We can see where the rotating cube is here, and these just rotate randomly. Here's the cube I made with multiple objects. Then these are enemy cubes that are in your way. These are also built with multiple objects and rotate randomly. So it's just randomly. So these are separate cubes that just kind of shoot at you, and I will add these objects to it. So let me go ahead and grab this object. So we'll go ahead and move it down here and call it enemy shoot cube. If it's shooting at you, select it, hit paste, one 3D model, grab the other 3D model, copy and paste. Now let's take a look. And it's that easy. These are a little bit off. We'll remove this to 0.001 to Z. We are moving in the Z direction, so I bet that looks like that solves my problem. Makes it a little bit longer over here, but that's fine. This other scene, these are just squares. Enemy motion squares, this one. And this is just specifically to a wave moving up, down, left, right, and there is no randomness in how these move. Get two of them, and then we can see it in the live gameplay. They just kind of go up and down. Oops, I died. These are waves that move up and down, left and right. And mixed with all the other rotation stuff, it works very well. Another thing I want to talk about is the character. The character has a cool trail. Here's the trail, currently set to fade, 5 width, 45. And I got this from another object in the smart asset. So here I always try to have the camera X 0 position, and notice the numbers it is for Y and Z. There's a rotation. You can always go into the camera icon to view what you're going to see. I try to be very careful here because there is no control Z when you move around in the camera zoom. So if I zoom out too much, you can see that it's moving not in a perfect X0 coordination, but I can always just hit 0, make it fit, and then just look at the game like this. I personally like the camera a little bit closer. And then the position is followed on the game path. The game path is basically the start to the end. If I put this end all the way up over here, like what was before Y0, let's see what happens. Yeah, see things like the camera just doesn't know what's going on. So let's just go back over here, put the end path back to Y0, and we are back to normal. In the actual game, the menu UI, this sound button doesn't stick. So I'm going to add stick to edge. In Buildbox 2, you never wanted to select stick to edge. I'm curious to see how this is going to look for Buildbox 3 on the actual phone. You'd think you would want stick to edge, but because there's so many different sizes, it comes off looking really weird. I'm either going to have to do stick to edge and test it on my iPhone 10, or unclick stick to edge, move it something like this, because this does not grasp what you really see if you're using an iPhone 10. Game is actually like this. Like, okay, maybe something like this. Essentially, what you see in the preview is not what you literally see on your phone. That's important to know. Game over screen, super simple. I got the font, I got your best score, and basically you just grab the font. So let's go in and label these so you can get a better idea. Just by labeling things, makes things easier to understand. These adjustments come with time. I like to make the restart button over the whole screen. Some people like it so you have to select a certain button. Then if you don't select that button, it doesn't work. That is not how I do it. Here we can see I have a fade in. Might as well select the other item. Okay, so first I'm gonna hit the record button. Everything is now being recorded. I'm going to grab everything except for the restart button and the gray background, and I'm going to move it up. Okay. Now once you move it up and you hit release and you go over here to 1, and this basically this green solid image snaps it in place. So now this is set to be here. At 0 it is here. And we want it at 5. We want everything to come down. I selected future and time, solid orange. Now all my items are selected. I'm going to click down, hold, and hold shift so it doesn't move left to right, and then just kind of put this in the middle of the screen, maybe a little bit lower. And let go. You can see it's ready to save, but you need to do one thing, and that's make a change that's noticeable. And I usually just do the opacity, then that should save it. You can go from here, and you can watch everything happen. It happens super fast. And then you can also see where the gray is. That's here. 1, 2, 3. Now that's the opening. And next you have the idle. This is what you see when you're right there. So here we can see that everything is up a little bit. So I'm gonna need to move it down. And the best way to do that is to go to open, see where everything is, and try to like re-zoom, putting everything right there. So here it's like slightly above this line. So now we're at the idle. Select all, click select. Perfect. So I think that's pretty close to where a little bit more down. The biggest thing is that this current should not be. So let's grab current. Current. Grab the holding shift, comparing the two, and so that's close enough. And then we're gonna unclick it so it's not recording anymore. Let's see what happens. Alright, so it's a little bit off. I think you can get an idea of what I'm trying to do here. And the thing is when you mess with the open, and then you mess with the idle, and then you mess with the idle, and then you mess with the open, these are all affected by each other. So it kind of gets kind of difficult. You're literally just going back and forth and trying to make the changes when, like here, this is where I want it. I go to idle, and then if I move this down, like this, go here, and everything already got moved down. So that is not what we want. It's just buggy when you're messing with the open and the idle and the close, but this is essentially how you do it. This will take a little bit more time to finesse. The event open and idle and close are all interchangeable, so it can be time consuming. I find the best way is usually to just start from scratch when tackling these issues. So that was menu UI. I have the same thing in level complete, so let's take a look at that. So we hit the record button, and this image, which is a dark and black image to add a kind of dark fade to what you see when you play, it's a little bit too low. We want it all the way up. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So we're just starting over. Open idle 0 sync 1, labeled leave as well. So we want this. So now we select 5 into the future, select the black image as well, or the faded image, select everything and move down, hold shift, and let go. Now it's been saved. I go over here just in case, the tab, and I'm going to unclick this, and now we're going to look at the idle. See, it's a little bit off. I'm going to deselect the other images, move this one up a little bit. See, now it moved over there, which is not what we want. Now it's going to just start jumping all over the place. So here's what we want. Yeah, that worked. I wasn't recording when I was making those movements, which I thought I had to. There's definitely a level of finesse when it comes to messing with the UI. So always learning something new. What else do we got? So we got this image, copy, go to the UI intro, hit paste. See, this one's already working for us, so that's great. We want these bad boys to be up here. Future 5 seconds. Move this down here like that. Select a random spot, hit tab, even though it's safe, and then let go. Alright, so it's a little bit off. Not really a fan of that. And we go to idle, 320 to 920, and we let go. So now we are good to go. I'm going to change this to 0.25. Okay, cool. Control save. That's how I did the user interfaces in my Cyberpunk game. I inputted music, but right now it's turned off. You can just select here and you can see the music. You can move it in. Infinity levels. There's no point system unless you get 99 points. Then you get to level complete. But I thought making a simple infinite levels game was a good way to start out. Thanks for following along as I go through the nitty-gritty of my Cyberpunk game. It was a lot of fun to make. I did it over 5 days, even though the game jam was a month, because moving and traveling and doing a lot of stuff. The more you spend time in Buildbox, the things you learn help build a foundation for the things that you're going to learn. Definitely, if you're paying for the software, Buildbox 2.3.8 is an easier no-code software to learn, use, and develop. Buildbox 3D, which is free with only one world. Since I have the paid version, I can have multiple worlds, but I don't in this game. It's definitely the best free 3D software out there that you can use if you don't know how to code. That's straight up. There's some other ones like Godot and even Unity Playmaker, but those are not as easy. At the end of the day, it's still very difficult, but it's not as difficult as other engines. And that's kind of the power of Buildbox. Users and game players can get past that frustration of Buildbox crashing, a lot of things don't work as it should be. So they're still developing. Everything is still in beta. It just feels like a software that is always in beta and is always being updated, and you need to be in constant contact with the support team. I try to do my best, but even then I really don't rely on the support team. I just look for another solution because I personally don't like waiting for solutions when I could just come up with my own solution by doing something completely different. That's my thought. Everyone's got different ideas on this. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.